Thank you.
Uh, I'm not the most tech savvy human. I guess I need my daughter once again to say, Dad, why don't you put a title for that podcast? I don't remember how to do it.
Yeah, we somehow there's a way to put it on the screen. And I work with video a lot now doing sports, and I've gotten semi literate, but
Uh,
I still have a ways to go. I just happened to spend the past weekend with both of my kids, and you know how tech savvy my son
yeah,
is.
of
And
course.
I'm like Peter, fix this, fix this, fix this. Show me how to do
Whole
this.
generation.
I'm
By
trying
the
to get
way,
him
by the
in.
way, by the way, good morning. Good
Hi,
morning.
Ken. How are
I know we
you?
just kind of started talking, and I don't want people to think that they came in the middle of the podcast because they
No,
didn't.
you didn't. This is the official beginning of the podcast right here, right
There
now.
you go.
So,
So good
how are
morning.
you?
It's sunshine outside. It's not snowing yet. It's not raining. And tomorrow's the last day of goddamn February.
Oh
Good
yeah.
riddance.
Isn't February a pisser of a month, huh?
I saw Todd Gutner. He said that normally we have 7 days over 40 in February. We've had two. This has
Right.
been a brutally cold winter.
It's been cold, and we've had a decent amount of snow, but it's not I mean it's not as bad as it could have been. Look, let's not talk about the weather because
Okay,
there's
I
not a
agree.
goddamn thing we can do about it. Let's instead. I was going to
Talk
say
about, talk
pick.
about the hour and 47-minute state of the
I did not watch the whole thing. I have to get up too early in the morning for that still, but I did. Like I do with a game, I watch the highlights. It's
yeah,
great now because you
yeah.
can always go. You can find the highlights somewhere. So we are sitting here and we look at this. Obviously, you look at it from the left, I look at it from the right, but we are sitting here seeing something in Donald Trump, especially at State of the Unions, that we'll never see again. We've never seen before. We'll never see again. We'll never see him literally sit there and say, "You're crazy." I mean, you are not going to hear that ever again in a State of the Union
I
address.
agree. I
But
agree.
what I want to get at to start out with is which forget about Jeffrey Epstein and all that for now. I know that's it's a thing, but I want to put it aside for now. What policy is it of Trump's that you disagree with? Do you disagree with his immigration policy?
Uh, I can tell you that no, I don't think most people disagree with. I think people think ICE has gone too far. If you're going to relate that to the immigration policy, I think that I don't think they like ICE wearing masks. I don't think they didn't like two American citizens being killed for whatever reason. I think that is border policy. Although I think we all know that Obama was the deporter in chief, as they call him.
Yeah,
I don't, yeah, I don't think people. I don't think most Democrats or independents have real fault with his border policies or, frankly, immigration, except for ICE. I think the tariffs are a disaster. I think they will turn out to be worse and worse as we go. Um, I think it's bad policy, and I've never seen anybody who said it's good policy.
yeah. I think we have to wait it out a little bit. It doesn't look good now, but any severe economic twist of the key, no matter what it is it's you're not going to get an immediate impact, and the market's not going to react immediately. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when you do something like this, I think it's long term. But here's what I want to ask you: when Trump said during the State of the Union, if you support putting Americans ahead of illegal immigrants, stand up, would you have stood up?
Well, I wouldn't have. I probably would have boycotted it because I don't watch State of the Union speeches. It was a trap for him to lay for Democrats.
And they stepped right in it.
But here's
You
the
got a
thing.
101-year-old World War II veteran there. You can't stand up and clap for that.
No, because you're really clapping for Donald Trump's policies, and Democrats aren't going to do that. Look, the State of
Yeah.
the Union is nothing but theater.
See, but people see that, and this is going to make a great campaign commercial for the Republicans. They're going to have Trump asking the question, then they're going to show Nancy Pelosi sitting there on her fat ass, not getting up and cheering for the military veteran or wanting to put Americans ahead of illegal aliens who come here and rape and pillage.
So here's the thing. His base will love the speech. It was catered to his base. His base had been slipping, not a lot. Instead of the high 80s, had gone into the 70s, according to most polls. He wanted to recapture the base, which was a smart thing to do. If you look at and look, I'm not a big fan of polls. I'm not a big believer of polls. There's a few polls. I think the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, in my opinion, is probably the best. But I'm not a big poll guy. The independents, he's lost the independent vote, which is what got him elected last time. So I think that he's going to get slaughtered in the mid-year election in the House. I don't think he's going to lose the Senate. I think he could. I give him a 25% chance. But the House is gone, just gone. And
Yeah.
it's gone because, in my opinion, he's not giving Democrats something to run on. He's not, it'd be so easy for him to come up with some policy that both sides agree to. He won't deal with the legislature. He won't deal with Congress. He wants everything by executive order. I mean, I think that's a mistake on his part. Let me give you an example. Tariffs. All he had to do was go to Congress and say, "Give me the authority to do these tariffs." The House has the ability to delegate decision making on tariffs to the president. What does he do instead? He does an executive order. And why? Because I think he's fundamentally lazy. I don't think he wants to do the hard political work that would take to massage the Congress. So instead of doing it the way that is legal constitutionally, he takes a shortcut. That's the problem with Donald Trump, is that there's a way that he could get done what he wanted to get done, too lazy to do so. I really believe that. And I think what's going to happen is the House is going to take over. The Democrats are going to sweep the House. It's going to be a 20 to 40 seat switch. And by the way, they may do it before that. If Gonzalez resigns from the House, you could get another Democrat from Texas elected to the House. And then guess what? It's going to be a Democratic majority pretty soon. But, look, Donald Trump. So I think that it's not so much Donald Trump's. Donald Trump's going to leave with an East Wing that's been demolished and a ballroom not built yet. Half-made monuments to his memory. I think he could have done a lot of things. He had the Republican majority that was going to do anything he wanted them to do, and he never did it. I think that's the mistake he made, frankly.
All right. So I'm going to quote right now
Okay.
Donald Trump. Quote, "I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that." He went on to say that if he didn't, I do believe I would probably be impeached. So that quote right there, a joke that he made, obviously a very flippant, off the cuff remark, one that I might make. But anyway.
No, you would definitely make that joke.
Yeah, I would. It caused an uproar. In the left wing media jumped all over it, asking every hockey player, including Jack Hughes, who scored the game winning goal, the golden goal, as Kenny Albert called it on his brilliant description of it on Sunday, the golden goal, even asking Jack Hughes about whether or not the president should have taken the joke back and all of that stuff. And I can't believe. I remember once when we were working together daily back, hard to believe it's almost 10 years now, but I remember asking you or saying to you, why does everything have to become a thing now? And even more so than ever, everything is a thing, and it drives me insane.
But here's what I think the mistake you're making is that anybody gives a damn about what the liberal media says or the conservative media says, because it's the true believers on both sides who.
That's fair.
I mean, listen, I didn't even know about that joke till you told me about it.
I know you did.
And do I give a shit about it? I don't. I mean, look, he invited the women's hockey team there. So I think he's a little obsessed about getting impeached, which he will get. He won't get convicted. He'll get impeached.
So let's back up
to
let's back up to the outrage over the fact that they went, period, whether it was the men or the women, by mostly the left-wing media. And here's where I sit on that. I don't care who the president is. I don't care what championship you won. When the president of the United States invites you to go to the White House for something like this, you go. If Obama had invited me to the White House, I would go. If Joe Biden hadn't, he wouldn't have known that he did it. But if he invited me to the White House, I would go. Remember when Tim Thomas of the Bruins, when the Bruins won the Stanley Cup in 11,
Yeah.
he didn't go, and that caused an uproar. It's the same thing. I said back then he should have gone, should have just, you know what? You don't like Obama's policies? Well, neither do I. But he's the freaking president. Didn't
Yeah.
I go with you and Linda to see Obama?
You did.
Huh?
You did. I agree with you. I think I told you that in 2016, my daughter got invited to go to Trump's inauguration. And she called me up and she goes, "Oh, I got invited to go to the inauguration." I said, "Go, I'll go with you." I mean, who doesn't want to go to a inauguration ball, for God's sake? No, I probably would have gone to one of the lower level balls. But hey, listen, not that I could fit in my tux. I probably could never fit
Yeah.
in my tux again.
Blame it. Hey, Ken, blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and I ruined your black tie affair. You know?
Did you really? I don't remember that.
No, that's a Garth Brooks song.
Oh, well, there you go. Listen. So I agree with you. I listen. If I was invited to the White House today, I'd go. Absolutely, I'd
All
go.
right.
I'd shake his hand. I'd be friendly to him. Why? I was in an elevator with Donald Trump in 1990. No, not whenever he was going through Ivanka's divorce.
Oh,
I almost said to him, "Hey,
do you need a good lawyer?
yeah, there you go."
Right. Yeah. I mean, I represented Kirstie Alley. You hadn't represented Kirstie Alley yet, though, right?
No, that was in the 90s.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, my
All
voice.
right. So let's bring things closer to home and talk about Janet Mills, who she's made Trump her number one foil, and I'll fight Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have to go through me. And if somebody's going to want to come to Maine and hurt Mainers, they're going to have to come through me. And she's going down, Ken. She's going down
I
to
don't
this.
understand. Look, running against Donald Trump has not been an effective strategy. It
No.
really is not. I think you have to run on what you want, not what you don't want. I don't think people, I mean, we're a very negative country, we're a very divided country, but I think people want to know, what are you going to do? Not what are you not going to do, you know? Although the New Hampshire survey, which has Plattner up 40 points, I don't think that's physically possible. I think, look, I think Janet is, I don't want to vote for anybody in their 70s. I just don't. I'm 73. I don't want anyone in their 70s. I'm not even sure I want people in their 60s.
I know, and that's
50s.
where I am. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 65. I don't know if I want to vote for anybody my age anymore.
And I don't like lifetime. You and I talked about this last podcast. I was always against. You and I have always been against term limits. You and I said the term limit should be the voting booth, and I really believe that. Except I have no faith in the voters.
So I've changed. I've done a complete
Yeah.
change on that. I
Yeah,
support term
me
limits.
too.
Now,
You and I both
let-
agree.
so let's talk about Janet Mills, whose record I don't think there's much to run on there in 8 years as governor of Maine. The budget is increased by $5 billion during her time here. I obviously was not a fan of anything she did during COVID, which reminds me, Dr. Shah is leading the polling on the Democratic side for governor, which is just
I don't understand it. I don't understand that. I am mystified. How does I know Hannah looks like she's a teenager, but why is she not leading in the polls? I don't get it.
I know, and then there she is, and she's a classic nepo baby, and don't forget we got Angus King's kid running too, whose name I can't even remember.
Oh, wait a minute, that's not Angus.
No, oh, it's right, it's Angus King Jr. But in Pingree,
but the point is, everybody who vote for him will think they voted for Angus again.
Right, and so she does look like she's 12, but she's the classic nepo baby. If she wasn't Shelley Pingree's daughter, she'd be serving watered down drinks at some dive bar in the Old Port.
Well, same with Angus King, whatever.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah,
but look, I don't like Troy Jackson. I don't want him to be the nominee. Did
you see any of that debate that he did with Bobby Charles?
I would not watch a debate of.
Ken, I watched it just for the comedy.
Yeah.
And I don't love or hate Bobby Charles. I think Troy Jackson's truly one of the dumbest people ever to represent the people of Maine in any governing body. And he came across as a complete doofus. Did you see where Mark Dion came out and endorsed him yesterday?
endorsed. Well, that doesn't
Yeah,
surprise
that's
me.
one
Look,
dumb Frenchman
well,
endorsing another dumb
Mark,
Frenchman.
he's pretty liberal. Look, Troy.
Pretty liberal. Man,
So
he is falling off the fucking earth liberal. I mean, it's
yes,
just crazy.
so Troy has the labor unions, and he has, look. Let's be honest. Most of the time, Democrats are going to win the governor's race in Maine for whatever reason. You need somebody like Paula Page, who's a bigger than life personality, to beat a candidate that's not a particularly good candidate. For the most part, the Republicans. I mean, right now, I like Rick Bennett of all the candidates the best. To be honest with you, as I sit right, if the election was today, I'd probably vote for Rick Bennett.
He is going to be the Elliot Cutler of this year's race. He's going
Yeah,
to be someone who's going to siphon off
yeah,
votes probably from both sides.
yeah,
And he has a history. Remember, of course, he and Mike Mishu remember, they were
yeah,
co-presidents of the Senate.
yeah,
First it was one, then it was the other. So
yeah.
he does have that going for him, I guess. Republicans view him as a complete sellout. Democrats, I don't know if any of them view him as somebody they
I
would
know some
viably
who
vote for.
I talked to a couple. I won't mention them because they haven't gone public. But I was talking to a Democratic legislator, a senator, who said to me, "I like Rick Bennett," and I mean I was floored because you're not going to vote for the Democratic candidate. He goes, "Nope,"
Boy,
and,
the
and you
Democratic
know,
candidates are
and I
piss
think,
poor.
and I think, as you know, I listen to Chuck Todd's podcast quite a bit, and he's a big proponent of rallying around independence. The system is geared to defeat independents. Independents do not have the same access to, they don't even have, I mean, they're kind of boxed out of a lot of the elections. I mean, we've had Angus King. There are some independents that win. But I think the day of the independent, I mean, just having two parties, we don't have two parties because in the Democratic Party and Republican Party, you have extremes. I mean, you have moderate Republicans, moderate Democrats, you have extreme Republicans and extreme Democrats. And I don't think people fit into two categories. I think they fit into four categories. And I don't want Troy Jackson, and I wouldn't want a Trumper. Those are extremes. I don't vote on the extremes. So I'd like to see more candidates, more parties. I don't like the two-party system, frankly. I'm just not a big fan of it.
Well,
So,
we
yeah,
certainly don't lack for candidates quantity wise in Maine. I think there's like 20
I
running
think we
for governor.
lack in quality. But
Yeah.
before we leave Plattner, here's the problem. I think Plattner will beat Janet. I really do. I think Plattner, and it's the day of personality politics, thanks to Donald Trump. I mean that as a positive for him. He was a populist. He could kill somebody in Times Square, and his voters would still support him. Absolutely true. Plattner can be a Nazi, and he'll get supported. It's a mystery to me. I don't like it if character does not matter today. Bottom line, it doesn't matter. And Platinum's going to beat Janet Mills. Here's why I think it's bad for the Democrats. Because the Republicans who would stay home and not vote for Susan Collins for whatever reason, they don't like her, she's a rhino, blah, 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 whatever the reason, which is insane. Because why a Republican would have voted for her is beyond my comprehension. Oh,
Agreed.
but against Plattner, you're going to stay home and not vote for Susan Collins with Plattner, with Grant Plattner on the other side? You want him to be your senator if you're a Republican? Please. I find that hard to believe. So the Republicans who would stay home, I don't think they'll stay home against Plattner. And that's where I think Susan Collins wins, to be honest. I think Janet beats Susan Collins, believe it or not. I don't think Plattner does. But Plattner
How
will
does how does Janet Mills, how bad a candidate is she, a two-term governor who decides to run for Senate against one of the great politicians in Maine history, Susan Collins, who's going to go down and she's going in the Maine Political Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it.
yeah.
But the fall of Janet Mills, I mean, it's not over, but it sure looks like it's going to be over.
I'll tell you why. She waited too long to get in the race. She has the appearance of not really caring about it. It's kind of like, I don't really want to do this, but everybody tells me I'm the only one who competes is in Collins. I guess I'll do it. And I don't feel any enthusiasm on her part at all. She's not
Yeah.
and she's freaking too old, and she's a freaking lifetime politician. and so is Susan Collins. And I'm not voting for a lifetime politician again. I'm not doing it. I want new blood. I don't want Angus King the third. I like Angus King, but I wouldn't vote for him again.
If it's I always want to call him platypus. If it's Platner against Collins, who will you vote for?
I probably wouldn't vote.
Really?
I can't. It's very
I
hard for
mean,
me to vote for
I mean,
Plattner.
he's he, but he you love his policies, man.
No,
You
no,
guys,
no. I'm not a progressive.
what?
No,
You're not a
no,
Nazi?
no, no. I am not a progressive. I believe character matters. I really do. He does not have a character. He does not have the character to be a U.S. senator. He doesn't. I'm sorry, Susan. I like Susan personally, but she has voted for Trump. She only. I really do believe she votes for Trump when she votes against Trump when it doesn't matter. I don't think she has. I don't think she has political integrity like she used to do, like Murkowski does from Alaska. I'd vote for Lisa Murkowski as president of the United States. I'd vote for what's her name from Montana? Dick Cheney's. I'd vote for Liz Cheney for president. I would vote for Liz Cheney tomorrow.
No.
Okay, because I think character
Fortunately,
matters.
you won't get that chance.
I know. So it's peculiar. I do want to say one thing before we get away from sports. I don't watch the Olympics, but boy, I watched the end of the hockey game.
Of course you did.
And the women's hockey game was really exciting too. But the
It
men's
was
that
it was
that that
two
overtime,
two
man.
great hockey games, and the men's game
Oh,
was up and down. Look, to play playing for a championship, I don't care what sport it is, but in hockey, when you're playing for a title, there's a lot of gimmickry involved in a 3-on-3. It's not a
yeah,
I think, a way to decide it. But the rules were the same for both sides. And to hear John Cooper, the Canadian coach, who's the Tampa Bay Lightning coach, whine like a little girl afterwards about 3-on-3. Both teams
the
had the same
rules.
format.
It's the rules.
Is all right, and that's the way it goes. And Jack Hughes, made a great play. The Americans great made a. It was Hughes who started it, and Hughes who finished it,
Yeah,
and and
absolutely.
and, and our goalie stood on his head, and that's
Yeah,
that's the way it goes.
unbelievable. And I will say, and I don't know the names, the young girl who won the gold medal for ice skating, the one with
Oh yeah,
the raccoon hair.
yeah,
I have to tell you, and I don't watch ice skate, but her her enthusiasm and her smile and her calmness and her enjoyment of what she was doing was
yeah.
infectious. She
Oh,
just was delightful. It was like, oh my God, I've never seen anybody that happy in a competition like that.
it was beautiful to see.
It really was, I'm you got to be proud of the American athletes because they were from top to bottom. I felt bad about the quad guy because he is outstanding, and that was unfortunate. I think he'll be back, but he was very humble, and he didn't whine and complain about it. He said, "I blew it." You got to give credit to somebody like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a
I
fun
mean,
Olympics, and we don't normally. I mean, we're getting better all the time in the
yeah.
winter games. Summer games are usually our thing, but I really enjoyed these winter games most of all. Obviously, the hockey.
I mean, bobsled doesn't do much for me. See, it's like race car driving. Watching somebody go around a circle.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I like race car. I watch NASCAR now. I've branched out a little bit.
All right, before we go, I wanted to bring some feedback because you and I used to do like a top five thing, which I really like. And I think it's good to give our listeners some enthusiasm. And it's that time of the year, and you remember, my rants about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I got to tell you first, let me say this one more time. I'm boycotting the Rock and Roll Hall. I've been there twice, and I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not all rock and roll. I love Joni Mitchell. She's she's not really rock and roll. I mean, she's
It should
done
be she
some,
should be the folk rock Hall of
yeah, or
Fame.
jazz. Well, I mean, it's like when you put Debbie Boone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's like really these people are rock and roll. Rock and roll,
I
man.
put her father in before I put her in.
Exactly. So I have to say, I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not really Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I'm going to pull up, assuming I know how to do this, the
Mr.
list of
Techie here.
the list of the candidates here. Okay. So here is the candidates this year.
All right.
Now, I want to say a few things about Jeff Buckley, who, in my opinion, has done the best version of Cohen's Hallelujah, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. And his version was great. But has he really done anything else in his career? Really? I mean,
He's
uh,
a no.
is Melissa Etheridge a rock and roller? Is
Oh,
Mariah?
she's a
Yeah.
hard, she's a major, and she's coming. I
All right.
believe
Well,
she's coming to the Bowl in the Pines here up here in Sydney
okay.
this
Mariah
summer.
Carey. Mariah Carey.
Oh, she's definitely a rocker. Now the question is she Hall of Famer?
Now, Billy Idol, I like Billy Idol. I'll give you that. He was in the 80s. I think he's there. Iron Maiden, okay, I can live with that. Is Pink a rock and roller?
No.
And who is Wu-Tang Clan? I don't even know
You
Wu-Tang.
don't know who Wu-Tang Clan
Oh,
is?
who are they?
They're rappers.
See, I don't think rappers should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're not rock and roll, they're rapping.
I feel like I'm sitting here doing a podcast with my father now. You don't know who Wu-Tang Clan
I don't.
is.
Oasis? So who on this list do you think should not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Not B. Let's see. Buckley, the Black Crows. No. Mariah Carey. She's a brilliant artist, but is she a rocker?
I don't think she is. No.
Phil Collins is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
No question about that. Melissa Etheridge, Fringe. I would say no if I had to say
Yeah.
one way or the other. Lauren Hill, no. Billy Idol, yes. In Excess, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree so far.
Iron Maiden, yes. Joy Division, New Order, no. Oasis.
Wait. Who's Joy Division? New Order, by the way.
If I don't know them, they don't go into Rock and
I
Roll
don't
Hall
know.
of Fame.
Do you know them?
No,
Well, how can they be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You and I are music guys.
I know.
All right.
All right.
That's fine.
Oasis.
Wait, how about New Edition?
No.
Okay. How about Oasis?
Oasis, no.
Okay.
Moving on now. Pink, no. Sade, Smooth Operator. Great song.
Not rock
One
and
hit
roll.
one hit wonder she's not in. Luther Vandross. He's the soul guy.
Yeah.
Is there a soul Hall of Fame? By the way, God rest his soul because he's not among us.
Well, Jeff Buckley's
Shakira.
dead too.
Shakira. What an ass. She's got a great ass and great legs.
But this is not the Ass and Legs Hall of Fame.
No, which I'd like to be on the board of directors there if I could, please. I can't see the rest of the nominees.
Wu-Tang Clan. That's it.
Oh, that's it. That's the last one. Okay, so there are no. So there's my votes.
All right, now I'm going to pull up an article, and I don't remember. I'm going to have to see because I want to give the guy credit because this was a people who should not be in the rock that aren't in it should be, and I have had this argument. Jethro Tull is the most egregious omission in the history of music.
I don't get it.
This article put them number one, and he talks about, I mean. How can you not put Jethro Tull in? And by the way,
on a park bench,
Jethro Tull is not Ian Anderson. Let's all be clear on this. Ian Anderson is the lead, is Jethro Tull, but Jethro Tull is a group. Yeah. These guys are fabulous. They've got how they came over 60 million albums sold. They are unbelievable.
And they had not only the album sold, but they had a really unique style.
Absolutely. And I love what he says. They carved out a singular place in rock history by blending progressive rock with folk, blues, and classical influences.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an electric flute, for God's sake.
I have Jethro. I have a playlist that I use for when I walk.
Yeah.
And I have 20 songs of Jethro Tull on that playlist.
I mean, if you look at particularly I had their first album. I saw Jethro Tull in Oklahoma City in 1970.
Oh my God.
And they blew me away. And they just came out with This Was, and I bought that and Stand Up. Stand Up is an album, the second album, and when you open it up, they come out and stand up. You can't, not anymore. They don't make albums like that. Okay, so I want to go really quickly through his
No.
top 10, and you tell me if you agree. Okay. So Jethro Tull's one. Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, yes. That they're a yes.
I agree. Mark, my college roommate, went to high school with Mark Farmer from Grand Funk Railroad, the
One
lead
of the
singer.
most underrated rock and roll bands in history. They
Absolutely.
really ELP is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
yeah. Can you believe it? All right, that's and now Sticks.
Oh, oh, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes than have Styx be in the rock.
Yeah, I don't get
Styx
this.
is the worst, most successful band in the history of rock and roll.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't.
I
By the
hate
way,
them.
sorry about all the ads that come up. I don't know
That's
why.
okay. I hate them.
I agree with you on Sticks. Now, King Crimson. I love, you know, King Crimson very
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Now, they're progressive rock. I love King Crimson. I think that the Court of the Crimson King is one of the great albums of all time. So I say yes to them. I don't care what you think.
Okay. Cool.
Three
Thanks
Dog
for having
Night.
me. Three Dog Night is definitely in the Hall of Fame. They, like
Well,
Grand Funk, are very underrated.
I know, but they're pop. Or they, of course, the Beatles.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
That's not rock and roll.
Was a good. But listen to some of them.
I know, I know, I know.
Mama told me not to come. Eli's. There's some
I
rock and
know.
roll
All
there.
right, I'll give you that. I like three. I saw Three Dog Night. They were the lead group, and I saw them in Detroit. Second on the bill was Rod Stewart. Third on the bill was Johnny Winter and the Three Dog Night was the top of the bill. I left after Rod Stewart, by the way. Let's see. REO Speedwagon.
Oh,
See, I wouldn't put him.
oh.
I wouldn't put him in.
Same category as Sticks with
Yep,
me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yep.
Okay, Bachman
Yep.
Turner Overdrive, taking care of business.
They're in.
Yeah,
They're in just for that song.
I agree with you. Bad Company.
Absolutely in.
I agree with you. And
Paul
there's
Rogers,
number 10,
great lead vocalist.
America. Oh,
You
so
know, Ken.
the fact that they did Horse with No Name, I think that kicks them out of the Rock and
You
Roll.
know, Ken. Oz didn't give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have.
They've done some good songs, but Horse with No Name, I don't know. And let me,
Pretty iconic.
yeah, I'm gonna go real fast to tell you the guy's name, and I gotta squint here. It's Brian Kachigian. It wrote
What
this.
magazine? What website
This
was
was
this?
in Classic Rock History. It was a
Okay.
website I found, and
All right.
so I thought he was right on. And I will boycott the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No more. I boycotted them since like I think it was 2010. I started this campaign for Jethro Tull, and I refuse to give
16
any.
years later, and they still turn, as you used to say, a blind ear to it.
Right, my friend. I think that does it for this week. We've been doing about every other week, which is probably all we can do because we have interesting, busy lives. But always a pleasure doing it with you. And stay warm, stay cool, because you know what? You know what? Spring is almost here.
Cannot wait.
All right. See you later, bud.
See ya.